Hey guys, it's me, Mr. 250, and welcome back to Tokyo Chronos. So, last time we finished the game, got a bad ending, as it seemed, got some pretty neat credits, and got dropped back here. So, we're going to be playing through it again. To my understanding, there is some repeated dialogue, quite a lot, I would imagine, that we can skip through, but we're going to be seeing the story from a different, or multiple different perspectives, to my understanding. So, depending on how this goes, and I don't really know, we may be skipping a lot of stuff today, or we may be going through a lot of stuff today, but we can go ahead and start by going to continue. And this, I believe, is the same thing as the before. I mean, feel free to read it if it's not, but... Oh, wait, no, this sounds a little... This might be somebody else. This sounds like Lo. A small ball of light slowly falling to the earth like a snowflake. It sank between the gaps of the buildings and disappeared. Nothing happened after that. What a letdown. Okay, yeah, so this is a little different. Can I sing my body? I am, in fact, Lo. Look at that cool shirt. I don't have any arms, so... It was then that I realized where I was standing, and the scenery beneath my eyes. I was inside of a building still under construction, which was located in some kind of business district. I couldn't pinpoint my exact location, though. And I didn't feel anyone else's presence here either. Where am I? What happened? More importantly... Where's Sayaka? My body felt light as if in a dream, but I know I was fully awake. There are too many unknown factors here. I should look around and investigate. I turned to head downstairs, and then... I turned to look in the direction of the fallen ball of light. Over there, or elsewhere. I didn't know why it drew my attention so much, and I carried out my trek. I gasped for air. I come to my senses already on my feet, like I was shaken awake. Okay, so this is back to the regular story then. And I think we met Lo here, originally. So I should be able to, skip. Oh, that just skips an entire scene. That's not like a, that's not like a text skip. But, I guess as long as I don't use it in the wrong spot, it should be okay. Although I don't exactly remember, because it has been a little while, exactly what scenes were originally or not. So I may need to play through a few lines before I figure it out. Okay, so it won't let me skip this. That's actually important to know. It won't let me skip this. And I'm assuming... No, there's not an option for that. But it won't let me skip this, so I'm assuming that this is a new scene. But that being said, we will kind of skim through it pretty quickly. Alright, here's something different. So, I'm going to be honest. I spent about 10, maybe not 10, maybe like 8 minutes skipping through text one line at a time. Didn't really notice anything that looked new. It did give me the option to skip at one point, so I went ahead and did that. But that whole scene where it wouldn't let me skip, I didn't notice anything new in there. It's possible that there was something in there, but I didn't quite notice it yet. This, of course, would be new. It looks like we're seeing Togoku's memories or something. A flashback, if you will. I hope these aren't all flashbacks, because it's going to get kind of old real quick. Anyway, I liked physics. I realized that, although it looked difficult, it was a simplified string of logic so long as I understood it. I had fun linking those points together like the pieces of a puzzle. I found the prospect of discovering a pre-existing law of nature as exciting as setting sail for uncharted islands, Or charted lands, even. But none of these were my main reason for loving it. I took my finished answer sheet and sprint out of my room. There was someone in particular who I wanted to tell of my accomplishment.
Oh
yeah, and just as a reference point, we just finished the first chapter. We got to the point where it said, you know, I am dead who killed me on the big screen. So we ended that chapter, and then this scene started. I immediately hide the answer sheets behind my back. I felt like Father wouldn't be pleased with my solutions. I doubt I should even show him. The main reason I love physics was because it was the only way to see my father smile. It's very dark right now. Why is it so dark? Is the scene supposed to load? Yeah, the game hasn't crashed, I don't think. Why is it so dark? There's nothing around me. Okay, there we go. That was strange. Yeah, so now we're back to this. Okay, so I can skip again, so... I was gonna kind of make the joke, why are there so many loading screens? But I guess it probably, each loading screen leads to a new scene, so we can probably skip without too much worry of losing progress. Besides, to be perfectly honest, while I am interested in finishing the story, I'm not like riveted, glued to my seat to know all the story details and what happened with these characters. Maybe I will be by the end, but I feel like if I missed a line of backstory about how Togoku's father never loved her, I feel like I'm still going to get most of the story. So let's keep going. Okay. Okay, so here's another scene I can't skip. It seems like for the most part that most of the scenes that are from our perspective aren't different, but then again it's not letting me skip this one, so maybe there is something important here. So I'm going to try my best to read through it and bring you back if I notice something. And as you can tell, this is the point where we all cook a meal together. I think what's supposed to be happening here is now that we've played through the game once and we've seen that Nikaido was sort of like outcast from the rest of society because they believed that she killed our character's sister, that this is supposed to detail... do I have a log? I can't remember. Yeah, I do. This is the part where it's like, Nikaido doesn't understand how to peel potatoes, you know? And I guess that was supposed to be maybe like because she was ridiculed in school so she could never actually go through the home ec class that he mentions here. Just an idea. Maybe that's what this is supposed to be. Alright, so I went through that whole scene. The only thing I noticed was, you know, what I came back for, the whole, maybe it's explaining Nikaido's slightly strange and a little bit alienated from the group, like, reactions, but I don't feel like there was anything there specifically new. So, anyway, back to skipping through stuff. Hopefully I'm not missing, you know, important stuff, but I'm gonna assume that's a no. These seem like the scenes that we need, and I can't skip these either. So these are the... I would assume that maybe there is, like, maybe one line of dialogue in there that was different, but it was so close I couldn't tell the difference. That's my best guess. Anyway. His sigh soaks through my skin, chilling my heart completely. My father tosses my thesis on the table, as if wanting to throw it in the garbage, and takes off his glasses. He got up after saying these things and left his study. I could feel my heart sink to the bottom of my stomach. No matter how many times I talked to my father about my theme. Theme? Oh, I see. He wouldn't let me develop it into a thesis. I thought I could make the theme more interesting by turning it into a thesis. I was already published in a journal, so I was confident. But this was the end result. I sink into the couch with a self-loathing smirk. I didn't feel like getting up. My vision went dark. Powerlessness had overwhelmed me, and I couldn't muster the strength to lift a finger. I close my eyes and start counting. When I was done, I used whatever will I had left to get up. I didn't have time to waste. Time was the only resource that was equally distributed to all humans. Life is a matter of putting the resource of time to good use. Those were my father's words. I leave the study and find my sister, Julie, talking to my father in the living room. My father is holding a tablet, and he appeared to be checking Julie's thesis. Soon he sighs, his expression softening.
Julie, what do you want?
Hearing those words took a huge chunk out of my sanity. I quickly passed the living room and went back to my room. I sat on the bed, pulled Patty close to my chest, and started taking deep breaths. I could feel blood circulating through my head, and with it, a fresh supply of reason and sanity. I hated myself for not saying hi to Julie earlier. What kind of sister was I? Do you want anything? Those were my father's words he reserved for when he approved of us. Something he would only say before getting us some kind of reward. Patty was the only one my father ever bought for me. I got her back in grade school for solving a university-level physics problem. He was my prize for solving my first ever proof. I muttered to Patty, and he replied, Not that Patty could talk, of course. It was all ventriloquism. I was talking to myself. Before I noticed, I'd gained the habit of talking to Patty like he was a separate entity. I knew it was unscientific, but I couldn't help myself, let alone stop. I returned to my senses, realizing that I could never show this weak side of myself to anyone else. Everyone thought I was a genius. In fact, I was much smarter at math and physics compared to everyone else. They wouldn't understand what I was going through, and I didn't expect them to either. I doubted any of them to have the luxury of doing so. We all went our separate ways after the incident. Nikaido was the only one who still maintained contact with me. Being friends with someone doesn't mean you expect them to understand all of your plight. Concealing your anguish, being someone who could be there for your friend, was part of the job. I knew that. But my heart was weakened by my father's rejection. I wanted to talk to someone. I sighed, trying to let out all of the pent-up pain in my body when my cell phone rang. It was a message notification. I raised my eyebrows when I looked at its sender. But what could that mean? We'll never find out now. Oh, is it low? Oh no, Lo's getting a little close. Oh no, I think this is, yeah, this is our character's dream, right? I remember this part. I can always tell who I am if I just look down at my chest, I guess. Alright, we don't care about you, Sakurai. Your story's not very important. I don't remember if last time Karen seemed to recognize Lo. I think that was a no, but I don't actually remember. Alright, time for another flashback. I got to skip through a lot of text right there. That was the big thing where we'd seen the big mirror wall, tried to break the mirror wall with the car, tried to dig under it, all that. It was like a 2-day period of time. Skip through all of that. I'm going to check on that Nikaido scene when I finish recording and see, and if it is something new, then I'll include it. Well, I guess I'll include it either way. But maybe it's not relevant. I don't know. I guess if it is the same thing, maybe I won't. So if you have no idea what I'm talking about, then it was the exact same scene. Anyway, what I wanted most was recognition from my father. He was a strict man who aimed for nothing but the best. He paid no heed to whatever praise or prize he received, and carried on, after striving towards his own goal. Of course, I admired my father. When I asked him to teach me physics, he refused, dodging the issue. I didn't know why. Perhaps he thought physics was too much for me to handle. I pleaded with him many times before he finally relented, warning me about the ever-expanding difficulty of physics. My father became harsh on me ever since that day. He started teaching me physics. He never once coddled me again. He told me to face reality head-on, that escape was unacceptable. Jeez. And yet the first time I solved a proof, he praised me, even bought me a stuffed animal. Patty was part of the family now, and I placed it in my room. I was glad that my father approved of me. I fully intended to meet my father's expectations. I had ambitions of standing on stage, receiving more of his approval. I recalled that image in my mind whenever things got hard. But then Julie came along. My father adored my little sister Julie, just as he did with me. He was especially amazed by how fast she was learning. She was comparable to me, despite being 2 years younger. I could feel that she was a prodigy by how fast she was growing. But one day the difference between us was made clear. It happened on the day I was supposed to go on stage. The thesis I had sent in had won the Foundational Physics Prize. I thought my father would be proud of me when he saw me standing on stage. Just as I was about to receive my prize, Julie's paper came to light. It was a breakthrough worthy of the 21st Century Nobel Prize. Her proof made ripples across the realm of international physics. Julie's name would be written in the annals of physics history. I knew my thesis was nothing compared to hers. The difference in sophistication was clear even to a layman. My award ceremony was instantly upstaged. When Julie returned from America, she came home with a different doll in tow. I had bought her a stuffed animal for her once, many years ago. It was my first and last present for her. I knew my father's attention had shifted. I vowed to myself that I would get it back. Oh no, it's us again. And the bloody hand. Oh no, it's Tokoku. I don't think that one happened before. And I'm Tokoku. Oh, don't stare at those. Sorry. A knock on the door startles me out of my reverie. I was remembering the old times. I like how they put your torso there, even though under fairly normal circumstances, you really can't see it. You have to really be like, oh, you have to really be looking to see your torso. Like, if I was standing up, I'd have to, here, I guess I could stand up really quick and see. If I'm standing up, I guess you can see a little better standing up, but if you're sitting down like I have been, you can't see very well. I was reminiscing longer than I thought. It's quite late now, and I wonder who it is. I walk towards the door and look through the peephole. Oh, so is this... I wonder if this is the night when we were supposed to disappear. Or Togoku is. Sakurai standing there by himself. I slowly open the door.
なんだいこんな時間に。桜井くんにしては非常識な行
He's
動だ
too
ね。
tall. Very strange. I think this scene did happen, but from Sakurai's perspective, I believe.
どうしても話したいことがあって。
犯人探しをやめてほしいっていう話なら無駄だよ。僕は急いでいる。
それはそうなんだけど、違うんだ。まずは僕が思い出した君のお父さんとの話について。
Yeah, this scene did happen.
僕の父の話？
Why is he bringing up my father all of a sudden? The lack of context troubles me. Sakurai ignores me and carries on with the story. It looks like he only remembered after talking to Nikaido earlier. My father was late in coming to the award ceremony, but at least he bothered to come. He had that cursed doll in his hand. The fact was, my father always worried whether I would be able to make it as an academic. The truth was, my father had always had my happiness in mind. That was what Sakurai told me about him. The side of my father I never knew.
東国は大切にされていたんだよ。ちょっとした行き違いで互いの思いが届いていなかっただけなんだ。お父さんは東国のことを大切に思っている。
Is this why she disappeared? Because, like, you know, her lingering wish or whatever you want to call it was solved with her father here?
何それ？父が、父さんが僕を思ってる？
ああ、お父さんの中にはいつだって変わらず東国の居場所がある。
Our character is so boring. Like, it's a really good thing that he was our character for the first part of the story, because he looks so dreadfully boring.
ちょっといなくなったくらいで失望されることはない。だから焦ってここを出て行こうとする必要なんてないんだ。
And look at how, like, look at how the hair, like, goes around his eyes. I feel like he could just go blind in a second if he just, like, twisted his head too fast. Sakurai fervently tries to persuade me. His passion makes me wonder if everything he said up to this point is a lie. Isn't he just making stuff up as he goes along to trick me? I have no way of knowing, of course. There are plenty of times where Sakurai could have met with my father without my knowledge. The fact is, my father was invited to a symposium back in middle school. That was where he met Sakurai, and the odds of them having this conversation was non-zero. But even then, there was no proof that they had ever met.
お父さんは東国が僕らの中にこそ居場所を見つけることを望んでいた。僕らだってそれを望んでいるよ。だから昔みたいに8人で力を合わせよう。そうすれば脱出の方法なんて。
I don't know, Sakurai. Your voice is getting more and more distant. I wanted to believe the image of my father that Sakurai spoke of, but that image came into conflict with the image of my father that I knew and couldn't get away from. If what you say is true and my father has always cared for me, that I've always had a place by his side, then what was the point of everything I'd done? I don't know, but that's why I need to find out. The only way I know how. Think.
出て行って。今の僕は混乱してしまっているみたいだ。合理的な判断ができる気がしない。
でも
出て行ってくれ。
分かった。
I closed the door, averting my gaze from Sakurai. Seeing his face would overcome me with my emotion. I would lose my ability to think clearly. I wait for my disoriented heart to calm down. Having calmed myself, I take a deep breath and began to ruminate on Sakurai's words.
お父さんの中にはいつだって変わらず、東国の居場所がある。
Wait, or what? So I've always had a place in my father's heart? And now my father thinks my place is with Sakurai and the others. If he did, he never acted like it. Why would he go behind my back to ask my friend like that? I felt like he was running away from me. Why didn't he realize that?
なんで今さら
My father is strict and aims for the very best. He's hard on himself for the sake of becoming better. That's what I learned from him in dealing with myself. I threw away all unnecessary things in order to gain his approval. Somewhere along the line I threw them, my childhood friends, away as well. I never bothered to make friends since then. All I wanted was my father's approval, his praises. Nothing else mattered to me. I admired my father more than the world which approved of him. To think that my father avoided me because he disapproved of my actions. My heart is in a state of flux. To be honest, that's the first time I've thought about things this way. But once I sorted it out, I ended up with two simple options. What Sakurai said was mere conjecture without proof. Even if my father had said those exact words, I have no way of confirming its validity. In that case, the most logical thing to do would be to find the perpetrator. I have a hunch of who it might be. At the same time, there's a part of me who wanted to believe Sakurai. There's a part that wanted to believe in Sakurai, and I'm willing to bet that the answers are stashed away in that safe. But I couldn't afford to input the wrong combination. I would have to get it right on the first try. And as much as I doubted Sakurai's words, I saw a glimmer of possibility in them. This is a bet. Highly illogical. The former option is logical, the latter is not. At that moment, I wonder, do I carry out the mission this world has given me, or do I open my father's safe? Alright, decision time. So, as it was before, left is the bad end. According to the walkthrough I was looking at, they call it the character end. Right is the story. In order to get the true ending, we have to see all the character stories. So, that is what we will be doing. Now, I don't know how long we've been recording. 44 minutes, however. I imagine about half of that, if not more, honestly, has probably been, stuff I just edited out entirely. So this could be like a 15-minute video so far. In fact, honestly, it probably is. So we're going to go for a little bit longer. Well, you know what? I will get back with this because I do have some more stuff I have to do today. But we'll do this for now as just sort of like an intro, and then either on Saturday or Sunday, sometime this weekend, I'll get back into it. So, anyway, let's go ahead, save right here. Hope you guys enjoyed. I know this was mostly just backstory for this episode, but when we come back next time, it'll all be new stuff in a world that we haven't seen yet. So thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you next time. Bye!